Okay. We're running a little bit behind on dinner. So in an effort to get everyone back to their matches and out of here by 7 o'clock, we'll continue the program while we finish dinner. I'd like to let everyone know we're streaming this to our Facebook page and to our USBGF YouTube channel, and recording it. So if you want to see yourselves down the road, do a Google on YouTube. So before we begin the presentations, I'd like to recognize some of the people who contribute their time and energies to the USBGF and Backgammon. I'd like to describe our staff as the dream team. All of them are dedicated to the mission. They know their roles, they listen to each other, they work together and support each other as a team, and remarkably, there are no agendas. We are blessed to have these people working for us. I'd like to introduce them to you. So as I say your name, please stand and let people recognize you. Dan Minardi. Chief Operating Officer. Ben Friesen. Our Director of Tournament Services. April Messick. April is Chief Marketing Officer and Chief Education Officer. Ed Corey. Our Membership Director. Marty Stoller is not here tonight. He's the Executive Editor of Primetime Backgammon Magazine. Karen Davis. She chairs Primetime Backgammon Magazine, the editorial advisory board. Chris Hoyer is not here. None of you probably know him. He's someone who does not play backgammon, but he is the production editor for our magazine. Michael Messick. Michael is our Chief Technology Officer, and he also produces our live streams. Antoinette Williams, who's not here tonight, is our commentator coordinator. Carrie Horty, who's not here tonight. Carrie is our community manager, and he also manages the online tournament series. Jason Briggs. Jason is an amazing fundraiser, and he's also in charge of our planned giving. And Rich Munitz. Rich is the author and developer of our online tournament series. So to give you some context for our ceremony tonight, the U.S. Backgammon Federation acquired the American Backgammon Tour, or ABT, in 2017. The goal was to achieve greater synergies between the USBGF, a not-for-profit member organization, and the major American backgammon tournaments. The American Backgammon Tour is a crown jewel of American backgammon, and the USBGF is honored to be entrusted with continuing the ABT and sustaining its legacy and significance. The mission of the USBGF is to grow backgammon. I am convinced there are at least many thousands, tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands or even millions of people who play or have played our game. One of our goals is to find them. When they do find us, they will find an organization that endeavors to create and sustain quality playing and educational opportunities for players of all skills. Those efforts include live and online playing opportunities, live streaming with commentary, educational videos and materials, support for local clubs and national tournaments, and the establishment and maintenance of rules and ethics. The US Backgammon USBGF online master points system recognizes those who accrue the most points in the USBGF online tournament series. We launched new software this year to manage our online member tournaments. Rich Munitz is the author of what we call the Online Tournament Series, or the OTS. It is an easier to use interface and it streamlines much of our back-end functionality. But what we are really excited about is the future of the OTS. Rich has built-in functionality that will modernize live tournaments. It's too early to say much more about that right now, but I want to let you know that work is being done. So, Rich, would you please come forward and award our top 10 OTS players?
What's that mic doing all the way up there? So yeah, luckily I've taken off a lot of weight over the past 2 years, and that's what enabled me to actually navigate through, so it's paying dividends already. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware. There are tournaments being run on a regular basis online through the USBGF website. It's available to all members, and it's basically it's called the Online Tournament Series, and it allows you to play at your own pace. So you schedule matches with your opponent, and you play over each round over a 2-week period, and it's very relaxed. And it's a great way to play backgammon, and you can also earn master points by winning and playing in these events. So I'm here to recognize the top 10 point earners for the past year in the online tournament series. As John said, this software that is newly developed is going to continue to be developed, and the goal is eventually to be able to literally manage all live play, such as the ABT, through software. So kind of a whole new way of doing tournaments in the future. I look forward to that day, but it's going to take a while to get there. But that's the long-term goal. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to call out some names. Come up if you're, or stand if you're here. I don't know which of these people are here. What? Sure. Okay, so in reverse order. Number 10 for online master points, Rich Sweetman. Irina Litzenberger. Number 9. Andrew Selby, I'm sure is not here, from the UK. Kevin Jones, who is here. Okay. Steve Hills, at number 6. Peter Wisnowski. Art Benjamin. At number 4, Ted Chi, number 3. I don't believe Ted's here. William Lonergan, number 2. Bill is at the tournament, but not here today. And finally, number 1, please come up, Roberto Litzenberger. Okay, I'll turn it over to Roberto. Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you very much. I'd like to thank the Academy first and foremost. No, but seriously, this whole time being shut down, we were in the house, and I really felt inside of me that, we are more than anything, we're a community. And I feel just as much at home when I'm at a tournament than I do at home. And I really enjoy being with all the people here. I mean, it's friends and it's family. And to grow this, not only just growing backgammon, it's when, when someone new at a tournament you haven't seen or people start going, let's talk to them, say hi, welcome the people, because I want everyone to feel it's community too, because I want to be doing this for the rest of my life, and I want to, be older than Ed O'Loughlin when I still want to be doing this. So, okay. Thank you.
Before COVID-19, the USBGF recognized top players who accrued the most points at live ABT events. As you know, live play was suspended last year, so in response, the USBGF created the ABT Online. As we did that, we discovered a new opportunity. For many of the ABT Online participants, it was their first exposure to an ABT tournament. For whatever reason, these people may never travel to a live event. The ABT Online points race is modeled on the ABT Live points race, and this year we honored the ABT Top 10. Ben Friesen and Jason Briggs, would you please come forward and present?
Thank you, John. So, as John said, when the ABT, the live in-person ABT went down, John actually talked to me and said, Ben, we got to do something. And we came up with a plan of having these ABT online tournaments, asking people to sponsor the tournament and working with them to run an event. And a lot of people came forward and helped run those events. I really want to mention Rory because he did a great job running a lot of the events. And we're going to keep having them. I know we've been on a little bit of a hiatus, but we're really excited to continue this tour. Probably going to have one, maybe two tournaments a month. And a lot of people who can't get to these live events to keep playing backgammon, and that's really what it's all about. So, without further introduction, let's invite up our top 10 for the ABT Online of 2020. So in 10th place, we had Kara Schultz. Yeah. And in 9th place, we had Eduardo Maciel. I don't think he's here. Congratulations, Eduardo. 8th place, we had James Fleming. In fact, I know the next four are not here. So, 7th place, Rich Sweetman. 6th place, Ryan Rebelo. 5th place, we had Kate Elmore. And in 4th place, we had Tim Cross. In 3rd place, we had the number 2 ABT point leader, Ray Fogerland. Okay. Right. 2nd place, we had Brian Lonergan. And our champion, this gentleman, has been a member of the board of directors since 2011. He is one of the biggest promoters of backgammon. He is always willing to do something great, educational or otherwise, to help promote the game. He's currently the number 11 ABT all-time leader with just over 200 points. He is actually the person who scored second in the very first live in-person ABT tour, and followed that up with incredible success until he finally won the ABT tour in 1997. He has 2 books, one of which has sold over 300,000 copies, has been translated into 12 different languages, and the other is a bestseller. So, with a 72-37 record in 2020, our ABT Online champion is Art Benjamin.
Mike, right? Well, thanks everyone. First and foremost, I want to thank my family for putting up with my backgammon playing and studying all these years. I'm delighted to have in the audience tonight my lovely wife Dina and her parents Sandra and Victor Dizengoff. Yeah, bring it lower. It means so much to have you here. I want to thank the USBGF for making the ABTO possible, and to all the volunteers who keep the USBGF running. I especially want to thank board members Karen Davis, Joe Russell, and Rich Munitz, who've served on the board continuously since 2009, and John Perner, who donates his time, expertise, and resources to keep this organization afloat. Thanks to Ben Friesen and Rory Paskar and all the tournament directors they worked with for putting the ABTO together. It's been especially great for players who cannot travel to live tournaments. Thanks to primetime editor Marty Stoller for putting me on the magazine's cover. That was such a thrill. Thanks to ABTO runner-up Brian Lonergan. By mid-year, this became a 2-man race, and we were neck and neck to the very last tournament. By the way, in case you don't believe that luck occurs in streaks, though I cashed in like 6 tournaments last year, I've not won a single ABT point or ABTO point this entire year, and that's not for lack of trying. Anyway, let me end where I began and thank my family, especially Dina and my daughters Laurel and Ariel, for all their love and support. And thanks to all my friends, new and old, in the backgammon community. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You want?
Raise it again. All right. Okay, on to the Lifetime Achievement Awards. I'm pretty new at this, and Karen Davis, my predecessor and mentor, has been kind enough to hold my hand throughout the past year and a half. Actually, to be honest, she hasn't held my hand. I've been clutching to hers for dear life. As we began talking about this year's Hall of Fame Awards dinner, she said I could bestow a Lifetime Achievement Award on 1 or 2 individuals of my choosing. She gave me this as a guideline. The USBGF Lifetime Achievement Award recognizes individuals who have made a significant contribution over their lifetime to the conduct of the game and tournaments, knowledge about its history and traditions, or creation of tools, strategies, commentary, and educational offerings that have advanced the game. So after there was a long pause on the phone, she said, "Oh, but you can use whatever criteria you like. You're the president. It's a President's Award." So that made the choices become very easy and clear. April Messick, would you please come up and make our first presentation?
I need to lower this a little bit. All right. How do we do this? All right. Okay, thanks, John. All right, good evening, everybody. John is really good at praising his team, but I think we need to give a round of applause for John. He truly is one of the best leaders I've ever worked with in my career, and he gives so much to backgammon. Yeah, for sure. All right, so Candace Mayron, when I first met her, I remember thinking, who is this woman with the bright purple hair that just won't take no for an answer? And, since then we've become fellow directors, we're friends, and she's just a relentless promoter of the game. Some things you might not know about Candace is she was the producer of The Love Connection. She was the associate producer of the Chippendales, and we have a former Chippendales dancer here at her table. Raise your hand. Here we go. There we are. All right. She was the developing producer of 2 reality shows. She was an attorney. She graduated cum laude, and she practiced for 3 years before becoming an investment banker. She has a beautiful backgammon history. She was really active during the heyday of backgammon in the 70s. She was on the Monte Carlo scene. She was the top player in the Pips Club in LA after the Lejeune era. She was a protege of Tom Gilbert. She was a close friend of Paul McGrill, and she was also a friend of Barclay Cook and Oswald Jacoby. And all of that history is really important because she puts all of her professional skills and her backgammon skills, and she channels it all into everything she does today and everything that earned her this award. She produces 2 tournaments in LA. One is the LA Open, the other is the California Backgammon Championships. And a producer is what she calls herself, but she's really an impresario of backgammon. She knocks it out of the park. She has really taught us how to do a backgammon tournament. She brings the glitz, the glamour, the red carpet feel, the stars of backgammon. She, like I said, she won't take no for an answer. So she brings back those people, she remembers them, and they do come to her tournament, and it's nice to be around them. She doesn't stop there. She really brings the glory of our history into the spotlight. She has started a Facebook page. If you're on Facebook and you haven't found it yet, it's called Backgammon Memorabilia. And it's really, really fun. She posts a lot of photos. She has a really good collection of articles and things of backgammon. So it's a really fun thing that she puts her time and energy into. She also is really generous with our fellow tournament directors. She will staff for free. I haven't taken her up on that yet, but I probably should. She is pitching a documentary, which you may hear about. She's really trying to get competitive backgammon into the spotlight, something that hopefully we'll be hearing more about. She was a founding member of the Women of Backgammon. It's a group that I run with her. And if any women are in the room, or if you have women that you feel may be interested in backgammon, we do a monthly study group, and then we do a monthly social, and it's really nice. You can ask us about it. She serves on the Tournament Director Advisory Committee. She is a silver founding sponsor for the USBGF. And she's had quite a couple of weeks. She's been in the news a lot. I brought the People magazine. She's in People magazine this month. That's not her. She's not Megan Trainor, but yeah, you should find her. And she's said quite a few things. It's been about the Chippendales. You should ask her about it. It's really fabulous. She's been on some TV shows. But it is my great honor and pleasure to present a Lifetime Achievement Award to Candace Mayron. Please come up.
Saba, you're coming to my next tournament lady. Don't even think about not. April. April, thank you for that beautiful introduction. And I just hope that when the time comes, you will allow me to introduce you. The phone call from John Perner a couple of months ago took me completely by surprise. I never ever anticipated anything like this. It was not even on my radar. But I tell you quite frankly, and most humbly, this recognition is the biggest thing to ever happen to me in my life. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank John Perner, the USBGF Board of Directors, and the entire Backgammon community, which has unanimously welcomed me since the beginning, and I don't even know when the beginning was. Was it the late 70s when I started my career in backgammon, or was it 6 years ago when I returned? I have no idea, but with 2 events a year, it really does seem like a lifetime. So many of you have been so inspirational to me. I learn from you, and I unashamedly copy your best ideas. To mention only a few who have given me a golden helping hand, Karen Davis in particular. Who never fails to provide wisdom and leadership, no matter how often I bother her. Many other established players have gone out of their way to help me, like Phil Simborg, Perry Gartner, Marty Stoller, Carol Joy Cole, Art Benjamin, and Joe Russell. There are also the younger players who always respond to my cries for help and who are the future of our industry, April and Michael Messick. Simone Chama, Carrie Hority, Rory Pascar, Ian Terry, Long Win, Albert Stig. A huge part of this memorabilia project. Because of Albert, your names are searchable throughout the memorabilia. Thank you. And my dear, dear Benjamin Friesen Cole. Thank you, Herb Roman, for so much and for being here tonight as well. My 2 friends who came out for me this evening, Randy Jaffe and Bob Evangelista, thank you for being here. No one, however, no one has or could possibly do more to make me look good than Patrick Gibson. My mentor and my friend. This man handed me a well-oiled machine. This man handed me his 50-year legacy. And if that were not enough, he makes himself available 24/7, less nap time, for consultation and guidance. We have a working relationship, the stuff of storybooks, and the hours I spend planning and strategizing with Patrick are among my favorite in the entire process. And I'd like to say a word about... I'm not finished, Patrick. I'd like to say a word about Carla Gibson, Patrick's wife. Carla has been one of my strongest supporters, as well as the IT go-to of the Gibson family. Carla was my first financial sponsor, requested anonymity so that I've never been able to thank her publicly. Thank you, Carla. I consider my role in backgammon to be the keeper of Patrick's legacy. I genuinely do. If I can enhance it a little, that's great. Mainly, I just have to make sure I don't screw it up. That this community that has already welcomed me, counseled me, and sprayed their hair bright pink in an astonishing display of affection and affirmation, Carter, now honors me for my own accomplishments is overwhelming and well beyond my expectations. I therefore choose to take this less as a reward and more as an incentive to do even better and bigger things in the future at my 2 tournaments. And because he was the first and the strongest champion of my return to backgammon, I share this award with my brother, John Mayron. Thank you all. Now please, everybody, come to the California State Championship in December. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, John. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna bring Patrick in.
I'm here. Hello, players, and yes. Congratulations, Candace. Well earned. After running Gammon Associates for 37 years, I had started to seek a successor for taking over the big weekend events. I searched for interested volunteers and invited Candace. She joined my staff in December 2015 at the California State Championship. I came. Then in 2017, she took over the reins. Those of you who have gotten to know her, you know she is very details-oriented, very creative, and an awesome planner. Coming this December is her 9th produced ABT event. I was so lucky to find her. We performed so well together. I now happily work and consult on her staff, and she gets to deal with the hotels and all those other details that go on. Many more years yet to come. If she tells you something, you can take it to the bank. She gets her facts straight before she states them. Her honesty and integrity are of the highest caliber. I trust her with my money, with my time, and with my reputation. I am so very proud of her receiving this Lifetime Achievement Award. Congratulations again, Candace. Well deserved. Thank you.
And I think we have someone else that wants to come in. Larry? No?
Yes, here I am. Welcome. Who is that stunning woman hanging out with Paul McGraw in the 70s and the Chippendales in the 80s? Everybody wanted to know. Along with those in the backgammon community who know Candace, my colleagues Patrick Gibson, Bob Stoller, Joe Russell on the Zoom call, new Hall of Famer Karen Davis, congratulations, Karen, USBGF John Perner, and so many more folks. It's been my pleasure and joy to have gotten to know Candace too, because Candace brings that pleasure and joy to everyone she meets. It's not an easy task when leading 2 major tournaments a year. Candace makes the world a better place because she's in it. And in getting to know her, I discovered Candace has some unsung talents. 3 years ago, a few days before the Monte Carlo World Championships, Candace and I had the opportunity to explore Nice, France together, which is when I learned that Candace's excellent fashion sense, which she obviously has for women, extended to men, because my luggage didn't arrive and I needed clothes. Candace was kind enough to take me shopping and pick out a wardrobe. They're my favorite clothes to this day, and I'm still wearing a shirt from them. That's when I learned that Candace, what she did for her Chippendales, beyond seeing that meta dress, well, Candace showed a knack for making things work. One of her pieces of advice, she said, I tell the guys to find the least attractive lady in the room and compliment them. These smart words are one of the many ways Candace helped make Chippendales a hit. Now, I don't mean to imply that Candace's constant good cheer makes her a pushover. She doesn't shy away from making tough decisions and valuing truth over ego when the situation demands it. Candace has demonstrated grit time and time again. Well, her dedication to the game of backgammon is unparalleled, spanning several decades. The LA tournaments with Patrick Gibson are a fixture on the circuit. This December is the 44th LA Open. The 44th California State Championships is coming up. And by the way, I think Steve Sachs has won like 43 of each of those. Well, I could go on, but other speakers have done a great job. And suffice it to say, over 40 years later, Candace is still stunning in even more ways than before. Congratulations, Candace, on your Lifetime Achievement Award. You have earned it, along with the love and respect of myself and the entire backgammon community. My only regret is not being able to be there in person and give you a big hug to express how much you are appreciated. Congratulations.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Patrick. I can see this is going to be up and down all night. All right. These people leave their stuff up here, too. When I called Candace and told her I wanted to give her the Lifetime Achievement Award, she was genuinely shocked. And she yelled at me as loud as she could. I had to put the phone away from my ear. She just screamed at me, says, "You can't give that to me. I haven't done anything." Do you remember that? Yes. No. Candace, you have done a lot, and you do a lot every day. Your energy, your vision, your creative risk-taking, your volunteerism, your infectious enthusiasm for backgammon in our community are noticed and appreciated. Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to invite Dan Minardi to come forward and present our second award.
Oh, look at that. That's handy. So I'm sort of the new one, the new face in the USBGF. Been around for just maybe 3 years. And so John asked me to present this award, and of course, you know, who am I? I'm nobody, literally nobody. As the COO, I was certainly honored, but the friends of Robert Stoller, they're all actually, I mean, they're really good friends. They're actually getting awards. So I'm honored and amazed that I have that opportunity to present this award. So the USBGF Lifetime Achievement Award to Mr. Robert Stoller, AKA USBGF's unofficial historian. Bob and I actually go way back. We played one match a couple years ago. So like brothers. We're like that. So even though Bob and I just met, you know, passing the cube, I feel like I know Bob actually very well, mostly because Bob's name is everywhere. He's a prolific provider of articles for the USBGF Primetime magazine, including published interviews with Malcolm Davis, Joe Russell, Patrick Gibson, Neil Cazares, Karen Davis, Ed O'Loughlin, Carol Joy Cole, and most recently, Carrie Horty, as well as many others. If you want to see Bob in action, in early 2015, he actually interviewed the late, great Paul McGrill. That interview can be found on YouTube, so if you have never seen it, I highly recommend spending a few minutes and taking a look. In addition to Bob's prolific primetime contributions, Bob has helped the USBGF get us where we are today with his generous financial support. In 2014, Bob was only one of 2 Chairman Club Prime benefactors, along with Karen Davis, as well as a current Diamond Level founding sponsor. In addition, Bob has been the financial underwriter of the videography of the American Backgammon Hall of Fame induction ceremony nearly every year since 2015, including tonight. This has allowed our friends, our family that couldn't be here to actually enjoy this event. And so I'm personally grateful for his contributions. Bob's generosity and commitment has been certainly not trivial, and his fingerprints continue to make a difference to our USBGF family. I know some of you hold it against Bob that he graduated Harvard, or that he became an attorney, as well as some low-ranking official like the Assistant Attorney General for the state of Alaska. Woo-hoo. But to be fair, Bob never became a dentist. And that should give all of you, and certainly me, maximum credit. Bob is a collector of backgammon boards, as well as collaborated on board designs from such manufacturers as Taki, FTH, Jeffrey Parker, as well as many others. I've been told that one of Bob's most enduring traits is that he will never say anything in 10 words or less if he can say it in 1,000 words. To learn more about Bob and his backstory, Phil Simborg interviewed Bob in 2013, which you can find online or in the July-August issue of Primetime magazine. So, without further ado, I present the USBGF Lifetime Achievement Award to Bob Stoller.
Well, I'm here in Anchorage, Alaska, at the home of my friend Stacy Steinberg, one of my former colleagues from the Alaska Department of Law, and one of my backgammon students. And Stacy has been gracious in assisting me with the Zoom hookup, because in my life, high technology is I've got a wall-mounted Princess phone with touch-tone dialing at my home. So first of all, I need to say a great thank you to Dan Minardi. That was a wonderful, wonderful introduction. And Dan, I really enjoyed that match that we played in San Antonio. And if I'm not mistaken, it was on an FTH board that you got from John Perner, Gammon Stuff, made by Fazil Turlemez. So thank you again for that great, great introduction. I'm deeply appreciative of being selected for this great honor. And I have many people I wish to thank and acknowledge, but there are yet other awards to be presented, and it's moving on toward the time that you guys have to get back to your matches. So I'm going to try to be very brief. At the outset, we have Karen Davis, who is about to be inducted into the American Backgammon Hall of Fame, and I definitely want to congratulate her on that. It's a most well-deserved honor, and in my opinion, long overdue. Next, I want to thank USBGF President John Perner and all of the people with whom he consulted for selecting me for the Lifetime Achievement Award. The majority of the articles I've had published in Primetime Backgammon have consisted of long-form interviews. So I want to express my great appreciation to the many Hall of Famers and others, 19 individuals in all, who have taken the time to sit with me for those interviews. As Dan mentioned, 8 years ago, I myself was the subject of a long-form interview, which appeared in the July-August 2013 issue of Primetime Backgammon. In fact, it was that very experience which inspired me to think that conducting such interviews was something I might be able to do reasonably well. So I most sincerely want to acknowledge and thank last year's Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Phil Simborg, for having invited me to sit for that interview with him. Now, as Dan mentioned, several years ago, Karen Davis graced me with the title of USBGF historian. In my opinion, a historian is no better than the primary sources he has access to. So in that regard, I want to acknowledge and thank the creators and custodians of the sources on which I have most frequently relied. In particular, Bill Roberti and Kent Goulding for their numerous books, publications, blog entries, and their fabulous periodical Inside Backgammon, which ran from 1991 through 1998. Inside Backgammon was surely the finest backgammon periodical of the 20th century, and it remains among the finest backgammon periodicals ever published. Next on my list, Bill Davis, Carol Joy Cole, and Mel Leifer for their decades-long efforts in maintaining the Chicago Point Backgammon website, with its extensive archive of backgammon information. And finally, to Tom Keith for his efforts in maintaining the superlative online archive, Backgammon Galore. By the way, that archive, Backgammon Galore, contains 30 print and 7 additional video recorded interviews, which Phil Simborg has conducted with a galaxy of backgammon stars, plus 62 additional articles Phil penned for print publications during the 3 decades from 1994 through 2012. And last, but by no means least, I want to acknowledge and express my great appreciation of the efforts of former USBGF President Bill Riles and his life and backgammon partner, Tara Mendocino, in particular for having created the American Backgammon Hall of Fame, and in addition, for having instituted the Lifetime Achievement Award itself. Bill succeeded Perry Gartner as the president of the USBGF during the last quarter of 2013, and he held that office into the first quarter of 2017. Bill conceived the idea of creating the Hall of Fame in 2014, and he brought it to fruition with the inductions of the 13 members of the inaugural class of 2015 during the ABT USBGF Awards dinner at that year's Texas Backgammon Championships. Bill subsequently conceived of there being a Lifetime Achievement Award, and he made the first of those presentations at the 2017 Texas Championships to Norm Wiggins and on behalf of the then recently deceased Louise Goldsmith. So, by way of concluding my time at the microphone, once again, my sincerest thanks and appreciation to Dan Minardi for that great introduction and to everybody who supported my being so honored tonight.
We're going to ship it.
Thanks for picking up your clutter, Dan. I appreciate that. When I called Bob and told him I wanted to give him the Lifetime Achievement Award, he said, "You can't do that. There are far more deserving people than me." And he followed up in an email with a list of 10 to 15 names of those he thought should be considered before him. If you know Bob, that's typical Bob. Bob, you are deserving of this. You contribute in many ways that often fly under the radar, and I'm grateful to have you in the service of our community. So now, on to our great presentation tonight, the Hall of Fame Award. The American Backgammon Hall of Fame recognizes those individuals who have achieved extraordinary playing results and or have made extraordinary contributions to backgammon in the United States. Candidates are not limited to American citizens, provided they meet eligibility requirements. Candidates to the Hall of Fame are individuals who have, 1, a significant body of work over a very substantial period of time, defined as 20 years or more, as players, directors, authors, publishers, promoters, teachers, and or innovators. 2, have realized exceptional accomplishments. For instance, he or she has demonstrated remarkable skill through success over the board for decades, and or gained achievements and recognition in the U.S. backgammon community over a long career. Nominations are taken from the community at large. The nominations must include justification for submitting a nomination, including notable awards and accomplishments, and a description of the nominee's significant body of work for backgammon in the United States. The nominations are vetted by the Hall of Fame Committee, and a ballot is created. The Hall of Fame Committee members are Joe Russell, Chair, Art Benjamin, Patrick Gibson, Kent Goulding, Neil Kazaros, and Bill Roberti. This year, 8 nominees were sent to the Hall of Fame electors. The electors are Hall of Fame inductees, the USBGF Board of Directors, and grandfathered electors. The following are current members of the American Backgammon Hall of Fame, and of course electors. Listed alphabetically, they are Knack Ballard, Carol Joy Cole, Barclay Cook, Bill Davis, Malcolm Davis, Ray Fogerland, Patrick Gibson, Kent Goulding, Tim Holland, Oswald Jacoby, Neil Kazaros, Danny Kleinman, Paul McGrill, Howard Markowitz, Alexis Obolensky, Ed O'Loughlin, Bill Roberti, Joe Russell, Steve Sachs, Mike Sankowitz, Mike Sabodny, Jill Sylvester, Walter Trice, and Kit Woolsey. Quite a distinguished group. I'd like to invite Art Benjamin to come forward and introduce our 2021 American Backgammon Hall of Fame inductee.
Thank you, John. So how do you introduce someone who needs no introduction? If you've been playing high-level backgammon any time within the last 40 years, you would know Karen Davis. So it would be easy for me to just say, and now here's someone who needs no introduction, Karen Davis. But that would be the easy way out. And since Karen is one of the hardest workers you will ever meet, she deserves much more than an easy introduction. As John said, the American Backgammon Hall of Fame recognizes those individuals who've achieved extraordinary playing results and or have made extraordinary contributions to the game of backgammon in the United States. Karen is extraordinary on so many axes. As a player, she's amassed a phenomenal record in more than 4 decades of tournament play. Here are some recent accomplishments. Player of the tournament for the U.S. team in the 2020 Ganud Cup. Member of the winning U.S. team for the 2020 McGrill Cup. Winner of the 2019 Super Jackpot at the New York Metropolitan Open. Winner of the 10th U.S. BMAB event and has achieved master status. Indeed, she is the only female U.S. player designated by BMAB as a master player. Yes. She represented the U.S. in the World Backgammon Federation Team Championship in 2019, posting the best individual record on the team. She finished second in the U.S. Open Online Super Jackpot in 2021. She's currently has the most online master points for 2021 and is the #2 all-time in the USBGF Online Tournament Series. And these are just some of her accomplishments in the last 2 years. As a tournament organizer, director, and promoter, Karen has an amazing record. She has organized the Cherry Blossom Backgammon Championship in Washington, D.C. since 2017. She directs the Sunny Florida Backgammon Club. She's founder of the D.C. Metro Club, and last but not least, since 2018, she's organized the Sunny Florida Backgammon Championships that we're all attending this week. In fact, her Sunny Florida Backgammon Club has more USBGF members than any other club in the United States. During the pandemic, when live backgammon came to a screeching halt, she was an early adopter of online technology and helped demonstrate not only the viability, but the great potential of online tournaments. Indeed, she was the first to offer an online tournament on the ABT Online Tour. For these accomplishments alone, Karen is worthy of being in the Hall of Fame, and yet she's done so much more for the backgammon community. Perhaps most significantly is her selfless dedication to USBGF. Without a doubt, Karen Davis has been the driving force behind the U.S. Backgammon Federation, developing its benefits and achieving growth of membership. She served on the board of directors from its founding in 2009 until now, serving as chair from 2010 to 2017, and serving as president and executive director from 2017 to 2020. She continues to serve as chair and executive director of the sister organization, the U.S. Backgammon Foundation. To quote John Perner, the current president and executive director of USBGF, Karen's leadership and passion for organized backgammon is an inspiration for everyone who serves with her. Without her vision, her passion, and her incredible energy, the USBGF would not exist today. Under Karen's leadership, the organization has grown from a few dozen members to over 1,300 members today. With over 200 founding and corporate sponsors who've donated over $350,000 to the organization, Karen launched and served as managing editor of Primetime Backgammon magazine from 2010 to 2017 and has overseen its content for over 70 issues, personally writing over 100 articles. By the way, in addition to all that she has done for U.S. Backgammon, Karen has led a truly amazing life. She has her PhD in economics from Rice University and has taught at Rice, Harvard, and Johns Hopkins, where for 9 years she served as chair of the Department of Health Policy and Management. In her distinguished career, she's written 6 books and literally hundreds of articles on healthcare in the United States. She spent 17 years as president of the Commonwealth Fund, where she oversaw an endowment worth hundreds of millions of dollars. She's been elected as a fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, and in 2012 received the Distinguished Service Award from the American Hospital Association. Prior to her academic career, she was in charge of national health care policy under President Carter, becoming the first woman to head a U.S. public health agency. In 2011, the journal Modern Healthcare profiled her as one of the 100 most influential people in healthcare. On a personal note, I first got to know Karen Davis in the late 80s when I was a graduate student at Johns Hopkins. And we would play regularly at tournaments run by Barry Steinberg in Silver Spring, Maryland. Our paths have intersected regularly since then. Serving her on the USBGF Board of Directors for the last 10 years has been a wonderful experience for me, and I'm honored to call Karen my friend. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce someone who needs no introduction, Karen Davis.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you for that lovely introduction and that warm reception. It's really terrific to be able to share this celebration with all of you. There's so many people to thank, but first of all, I'd like to start by thanking my family, my grandson, Stephen Collins, and my grandson, David Collins, and his friend, Shacy. So thank you for being here this evening. But I also want to thank my sunny Florida Backgammon family, Jason Briggs. Thank you, Jason, for all you've done for Backgammon, and to Nano Cabrera and his granddaughters, Emily and Adriano, who are responsible, along with Les Bloom, for these beautiful roses on our table. And our friends Alec and Philippe and Les Bloom and Robert D'Angelo, and so many others who've given me so many hours of challenging play. And I'd also like to thank my DC Backgammon family, Larry Brown, Ed O'Loughlin, Daniel, Marcy, Gossie, and Kent Goulding still qualifies as a DC Backgammon player plus Hall of Famer. So thank you for being here. I also want to thank my U.S. Backgammon Foundation family, first and foremost John Perner for all he's done, Art serving on the board, Joe Russell, Ben Friesen, April, Dan, Rich, Frank, hope I haven't forgotten anybody, but staff, volunteers, all board members, thank you so much. It's been great to work with you. It's such an honor to join this distinguished set of Hall of Famers. So to be in the midst of some of my earliest teachers, Paul McGrill, with 2 years of lessons from him and still a lot to learn in New York. Kent Goulding was one of my first teachers one story. At one lesson, he sat across the room from me in the living room and he said, "Let's play a match. I don't need to see the board." And he proceeded to beat me without being able to see the board. But there's so many here that I've learned from: Joe Russell, Steve Sachs, Ed O'Loughlin, Ray Fogerlin, and I know viewing this evening, Carol Cole, Neil Kazaros, Sink, Svobo, Kit Woolsey, another DC great teacher. In fact, the way I learned was watching Kit and KG and the other DC players, John Klein, playing chouettes. I didn't even have to pay and lose money. I could just sit there and learn as they argued about the merits of different positions. Joe Russell said when he was inducted that backgammon had given him his personal friends and his business associates. And it's certainly true for me as well, that my backgammon friends have given me great fulfillment and helped me through the transitions in my life. So when I think about what backgammon has given me, is first and most those friendships. And I think all of you share that experience of walking into a tournament and feeling embraced. As we're greeted warmly by the director, the staff, the fellow players. It really is a wonderful community. But it's also hours of stimulating intellectually, exciting play. No game is ever the same. We discover something new every time we play, and we can take great pride in acquiring greater knowledge and skill over time. So I've entrusted myself most recently to Roberto Litzenberger, as have others in this room, and also Marty Stoller. They all keep trying. The other thing about backgammon is the opportunity to travel and see new places and make new friends. So helping build the USBGF from its foundation into a lasting organization is a source of satisfaction and pride. As was mentioned, under John's leadership, we've hit a record in terms of membership. I'm particularly proud of the fact that we have over 240 corporate and individual founding sponsors who have donated almost $500,000 to this organization. So we simply wouldn't exist, truthfully, without that generous support. We publish the world's premier backgammon magazine, and particularly indebted to Marty Stoller, who couldn't be here, for all he's doing to take that to new heights. Carol Joy Cole had hoped to be here this evening. I know she's watching this streaming. But she said that when she started out, her mother told her, provide value when you run a local club. Give back benefits that are worth far more than dues or whatever people pay. And certainly we've taken that to heart and insist on providing benefits, whether they're online tournaments or educational materials that Phil Simborg helps generate. All of the things that USBGF does to advance its mission of advancing the awareness, participation, education, and enjoyment of the skill-based game of backgammon. So each of us who support the USBGF do so and are proud of different accomplishments. For some, it's the leadership role the USBGF has played around the world in promoting the game as a mind sport. For some, it's what USBGF has done to help grow the backgammon community. And with the new website that April is developing, that has even greater potential in the future. But for me, there are three achievements that mean the most. The first is expanding the opportunities to play the game we love. as you listened to Art talk about how many online points I had racked up over time, you know that I love to play. But when the USBGF was formed in 2009, truthfully, backgammon was on the decline. So attendance at ABT tournaments was steadily going down. Lynn remembers this, by 10% over that decade. And the joke was about all the gray hair that was in the room. Never, this is never going to be great. Maybe I'll go purple at some point. But the worry was that the directors who had dedicated their lives to holding tournaments were reaching the point that they would no longer be able to continue. And now there are many younger faces at the helm of ABT tournaments. So I look at Ben, look at April and Michael, I look at Rory, I look at Jason, Candace, Dan, you all count as young, so thank you for all you do. You know, Florida is an example of a tournament that had fewer and fewer players. And we all adored Elaine Feinstein, but when she moved back to Baltimore to be near family when her health declined, backgammon, at least tournament backgammon, pretty much closed down in South Florida. And now just look at what we have with a record 125 players at this tournament. Really, some of the Sunday Florida old-timers remember what a powerhouse this area was for backgammon, and it's coming back, so that's great to see. The pandemic obviously put us on a bit of a pause, but it didn't wipe out play. And instead, the USBGF with John and Ben's leadership stepped up and created the ABT Online. I was proud to have the Cherry Blossom Online be the first of that 25 events that provided major tournaments over 1.5 years. And Ben and now Nano Cabrera helped us put our monthly Sunny Florida tournaments online. So we were able to stay together as a community. Gary Caselny volunteered to run bi-weekly backgammon concepts teaching sessions, which we use Michi's books and his proverbs as the teaching material for those sessions. So there have been lots of opportunities through that and the online tournament series. But we've also provided opportunities to acquire new skills. I point particularly to the Primetime Backgammon magazine and all that we've done with that quarterly over the years. It was really the first thing that I did as a board member was to start that in September of 2010. I'm an academic, as you heard, so putting out books, putting out magazines, putting out articles. I thought, I know how to do that. Let's just do that. And Rich remembers all the discussions we had, but I said, let's just get with it and start producing something that people will enjoy. So that's high on my list, but there are others. The online match series that Jason Lee and Neil Kazaros are behind, the videos that Phil has produced. The U.S. Backgammon Foundation supports streaming. We've had over 1 million views of our YouTube matches. That's a great teaching tool. And then I would say that finally the US BGF has given recognition to achievements. This dinner is an example of that, but the rating systems that Rich Munitz put together that you see in the awards that are given tonight, the publication of ratings and tournament results. Art talked about having his photo on the cover of the magazine so one's in-laws can take pride in what is it that he does. Somebody said being on the coffee table is important to get some dignity finally in the family. But I'm particularly pleased that we also support the Backgammon Masters awarding body that awards Grandmaster and Master, many in the room tonight. We also participate in sending teams to international competitions, so it was great to be with Phil and Roberto and Irina and others recently in Germany for the World Team Championship, and in Montenegro in 2019 with Carter and Frank and many others. You should raise your hands if I'm forgetting. But anyway, what I'm saying is all of this wouldn't exist without the U.S. Backgammon Federation. Its leadership over the last decade, its board, its staff, and especially its generous sponsors. So thanks to all of those. And I would like to thank three people specifically for what a fabulous evening this has been. John Perner, who put in so many hours to have our technologically excellent team bringing our friends who couldn't be here into the room with us. To April, who designed the wonderful program that's at your seat, but really all of the planning that went into this event. And to Robert Stoller, who generously supported all of this evening. So in closing, it's great to pass the torch to the next generation of leadership. And I'm proud of all of the new faces at the tournaments and around the tables, all of us working together to make this the game we all love, the best that it can be. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I think we have a guest who wants to join in.
I'm very happy and very pleased to welcome Karen to the Backgammon Hall of Fame. While she was not the first person admitted to the hall, I can think of no one in it that is more deserving than Karen. She has done more through her volunteerism with the USBGF and her promotion of her tournaments to organize and grow backgammon in the United States than anyone in history. USBGF would likely not exist without Karen's tireless work in so many different areas, wearing so many various hats, such as president, editor, fundraiser. She is highly intelligent, very organized, extremely hardworking, has a warm personality, great sense of humor, and is one of the nicest people I've ever known. It is impossible to know Karen without loving her. She raises the prestige of the U.S. Backgammon Hall of Fame with her admission. Thank you for all you do and have done for U.S. Backgammon, Karen, and for honoring me with your friendship. I can be no happier than to welcome you to U.S. BGF Backgammon Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Joel. So I know everyone's anxious to get back to their matches, but I'd like to first ask that all the Hall of Fame inductees stay afterwards so we can get a group photo of everybody together. And I'd like to give you my closing remarks. The first time that I met Karen was at a USBGF membership desk. She processed my membership application and helped me get an account on Gridgammon. She seemed like a very sweet lady, but I didn't know anything about her until someone suggested that I Google Karen Davis Healthcare. I was amazed by the search results. They go on, page after page. She even has her own wiki page, and it's a long one. This isn't the first or second or third or fourth or fifth award that Karen's gotten. In fact, I think Karen, this must be deja vu all over again. For example, in 2019, Karen was named to the Modern Healthcare Hall of Fame. This was in the press release. Davis, who holds a PhD in economics, has been a leader in shaping policy in academia, government, philanthropy, over a career of spanning more than 40 years, starting with research roles at the Brookings Institution and teaching at Harvard. As Deputy Assistant Secretary for Planning and Evaluation at what is now HHS from 1977 to 1980, she helped craft President Jimmy Carter's proposal for a national health plan. After a long stint as chair and professor of the Health Policy and Management Department at Johns Hopkins, Davis served as president of the Commonwealth Fund for 17 years. That's quite remarkable. Karen may possibly be the most intellectually organized person I have ever met, while also being one of the most humble people I've ever met. While I was COO, she and I would have impromptu meetings on the phone. I would send an email asking if we could meet in an hour, and 10 minutes later, I would receive an affirmative reply with a 15 to 20 point agenda. No, that won't work was never something that she would say. And I thank you for that, Karen. I really appreciate that. After reading her wiki page, I wonder where she found the time and passion for backgammon and the USBGF. As others have said, it seems improbable that USBGF would exist today were it not for Karen. Primetime Backgammon magazine is a wonderful example of Karen's vision, her energy, her risk-taking, and her pursuit of exceptional quality. So are the Sunny Florida and Cherry Blossom tournaments. The USBGF is on the move. We have exciting projects that are coming to fruition. As Karen's leadership role diminishes, others will probably take the credit. But I want all of you to know that Karen deserves the credit because she inspired us and gave us the freedom to pursue big ideas that many people thought were absolutely crazy. We are doing today what we are doing because of her vision, her leadership, her risk-taking, and her support. I showed my wife the plaque that we were going to give to Karen tonight. And she looked at it and says, "Oh, that looks way too small for all the things she's done." She said it should be 6 feet by 12 feet, not 12 inches by 6 inches. Karen, thank you and congratulations. So thank you, everyone. Get back to your matches. We're serving dessert. Sorry.
Lifetime achievement buddies.
I would like to ask all of the Hall of Fame inductees to meet in the other room so we can get a group photograph.
Very busy taking people back and forth.
I'll send you the pictures and email. Yes, okay?